You don't quit because it's too hard. You quit because the version of you doing it isn't built to last. Same goal, same plan, same intention, different identity, and identity decides everything. Because when things get uncomfortable, and they will, you don't rise to your goals. You fall to your identity. That's the part no one warns you about. You can have the perfect plan, the perfect schedule, the perfect strategy. But if your identity is weak, you will break. Quietly, gradually, predictably. You'll start strong. You'll feel motivated. You'll believe this time is different. And then something small happens. You get tired, you get distracted, you lose momentum, and suddenly, you're negotiating again. Maybe I'll do it later. Maybe today doesn't matter. I'll restart tomorrow. That's not failure, that's identity collapse. Because deep down, you don't see yourself as someone who finishes, so when pressure shows up, you act accordingly, and over time, that pattern becomes your truth. You become the person who starts, but never completes. That's the real danger, not quitting once, becoming someone who always does. But here's the shift. You don't fix quitting by pushing harder. You fix it by becoming someone who doesn't quit. That sounds obvious. It isn't. Because most people focus on behavior, they try to force action. But behavior is a surface-level problem. Identity is the root. And if the root is weak, nothing you build on top will last. So the question isn't, how do I stay consistent? The question is, who do I need to become? So consistency is automatic. That's where the transformation begins. First shift, stop chasing outcomes, start defining standards. Most people operate on goals. I want to lose weight. I want to make money. I want to improve. But goals are temporary. They end. And once they end, so does the behavior. That's why people relapse. They reach the goal and lose the identity. Standards are different. Standards don't end. They define how you operate, not what you achieve. So instead of saying, I want to work out, you decide, I don't miss workouts. Not, I'll try to be consistent. I show up, no matter what. That shift changes everything, because now, it's not optional. It's who you are. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. You will not feel like this version of yourself, not at first. It will feel forced, unnatural, even fake. That's normal, because you're acting against your current identity, and your brain resists that. It wants familiarity, even if that familiarity is failure. So the second shift, act like the person you want to become before you feel like them. You don't wait to feel disciplined. You behave as if you already are. Because identity is built through repetition, not belief. You don't believe your way into a new life. You behave your way into one. Now listen carefully, because this is where most people break. They try to change everything at once. New habits, new routines, new mindset. And it feels exciting until it doesn't. Because change at that scale is unstable. So the third shift, win small, but win daily. Not massive progress, consistent proof. One action, completed, every day. Because every win but is evidence. And evidence builds belief. And belief strengthens identity. That's how you become someone new. Not through intensity, through accumulation. Now here's the truth most people avoid. You will fail. You will miss a day. You will lose momentum. You will feel like quitting. That doesn't disqualify you, but how you respond defines you. So the fourth shift, remove the idea of starting over. There is no restart. There is only continuation. You missed a day? Fine, you show up the next. No drama, no guilt, no reset. Because the moment you say, I'll start again Monday, you've already quit, just more politely. And that's how people stay stuck. Endless restarts, no real progress. Now here's where identity locks in. Most people rely on emotion. They act when they feel motivated. They stop when they don't. And because of that, they're inconsistent. So the fifth shift, detach from emotion. You don't ask how you feel. You ask what you do, and then you do it. Because it's part of your standard, because it's who you are. Emotion becomes background noise, not a decision maker, and that's power. Now here's something deeper. Quitting isn't always obvious. Sometimes it looks like delay, like distraction, like I'll do it later. But it's the same pattern, avoidance. So the sixth shift, catch quitting early, not when you've already stopped. When you start negotiating, when you feel the urge to delay, that's the moment. That's the decision point. And if you win there, you don't quit later, because quitting doesn't happen all at once. It happens in small permissions. One excuse, one delay, one compromise, until the pattern takes over. Break it early, and you stay in control. Now the final shift, and this is what separates temporary change from permanent transformation. Most people try to become better. Few people become different. Better still negotiates. Better still hesitates. Better still struggles. Different operates differently. So the seventh shift, redefine who you are, not I'm trying to improve. I'm someone who finishes what I start, not I'm working on discipline. I don't break promises to myself. That language matters because your brain listens, and over time, it adapts until that identity feels real, until it feels natural, until quitting feels wrong. Now step back, look at your past, honestly. How many times did you quit? How many times did you restart? How many times did you believe this time is different? And then it wasn't. That's not a lack of effort, that's a pattern. And patterns don't break with motivation, they break with identity. So now the question is simple. Will you keep trying to force yourself, or will you become someone who doesn't need to be forced? Because one path is exhausting, constant effort, constant resistance, constant failure. The other is different, clear standards, consistent behavior, aligned identity, and once those align, you don't feel like quitting anymore. Not because it's easy, but because it's not who you are. That's the shift, from effort to identity, from trying to becoming. And once you cross that line, you don't go back. If this changed your perspective, subscribe, because the next video might change your life.